Howdy, and welcome back to yet another episode of Garage Party. In today's episode, as once again you saw from the title and probably the thumbnail, we will be working on the E12, Robert's car. Because, well, it's been here for a little while. We don't care that it's been here for a little while, but he wants to drive it, and I want to see him drive it. I think it'd be fun. All the stuff that I need to fix it, it's all here, so he just hasn't had the time because of school and other stuff that he's been busy with, and the S4. Yeah, that's right, the S4. I need to do an update on that. That has had some pretty good big changes, kind of. Yeah, it's had a lot of changes done since the last video on it, and the only reason I haven't been putting videos out for the S4 is because, well, it's not here actually. It's at Bobby's house. So while he works on that, I'm going to try to get him to do some, maybe some videos and stuff, at least just some clips, so that way I can put them in whenever I do the next update on that. But for now, we're going to be working on the E12, and I believe all I have to do to it is the head gasket. At least that's all I'm going to do, because that's what I know is wrong. Maybe the brakes on it too. Not today. Maybe in today's video, but not in today. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so as you can see, I got the hood off. That was not easy, but I did it. So now all I have to do is take everything else apart, because, well, the head has to come off. Shouldn't be too bad. Just got to take intake, well, definitely valve cover. I don't know, actually. I might not have to pull the intake. I might be able to pull the intake with the head on. But, like, all the hoses and stuff, thermostat, hosing hose, well, upper, lower hose, this hose, that hose. We got hoses everywhere. Exhaust will have to come off. That probably won't be fun. But I think most of it can stay on. It'll be a lot heavier with it all on, but I think most of it can stay on. Which is a plus, because that might be less work. But I don't know yet. So I'm going to go ahead and dig into this. As I make progress, like in most other videos, I'll keep you updated. Alright, so here we are. I got most of the intake off. I think just as much as I need to take off, honestly. Valve cover off. I guess that's really it. I thought I did more, but that's okay. Next, I'm going to try to get these hoses off. And that one as well. One thing I did notice is that feller, the timing chain. That's going to be interesting because I believe this is all one casting. I don't think there's an actual split. So I'm going to have to figure out how to be able to get the head off while also having that off. And it almost worries me, like, I mean, it's not that big of a deal because, I mean, it's going to be drained anyway. But I'll probably have to pull the radiator out, distributor out, fan off, well, that's a given, and whatever else. I'm slightly worried, like, if that's the case, depending on how, like, this is designed, if I don't have to lift up part of the motor to get it, or what I'll have to do. But I mean, this is at least where I am for now. I'm gonna keep messing with it for a little bit, see what I can come up with, at least get those hoses off for tonight. If I can, then I'll just stop tonight once I get those off and try to get it out to get the rest of the head off tomorrow, which is no big deal. I mean, I know Bobby's not in the biggest rush for this, and neither am I, but I just would like to do it because it's cool. Okay, so it is the next day, and like I said, I got the hoses off last night. I even pulled the radiator out, and then today I actually just got this off. I kind of looked it up just to see. It wasn't even on an E12. It was on one of the newer, like, I think it might have been like an E36 or something like that. I don't know. All very similar, but that one had 2 camshafts, so it had 2 chains. But either way, they still kept the same similar cover. And so I got that out. All that was 8 bolts, and you pull that, and now you have access to this. So this shouldn't be too bad. I haven't really looked into it that much yet, but it looks like just these 4 come off, And, well, maybe. I don't know yet. I think so. I hope so. If not, then I have to take this giant nut off, which wouldn't be that bad. But yeah, I mean, you could see it looks like chocolate milk. Really, really gross chocolate milk. So that's not good. And then also, that's what the inside of the thermostat housing looks like. Also not pretty, at least the back end of it. Here's the other end. I think it looked okay. Yeah, kinda, not really. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep going with this. Hopefully the next time you see this, the head will be off. But all I have to do is I have to make sure to get the heater core hoses off. That line for the fuel rail off, the low pressure line, or whatever that is, might be a vacuum line. And then figure out how I want to do the exhaust. And that actually, with the exhaust, you can either try to take the manifold off, or they do have it set up where you can just take the entire thing off. The bolts don't look like they're that rusted either, so I might just do that. It might be easier just to lift the car up some, get my impact out, and just buzz those bolts off, and like the nuts and bolts off. And then that side should be fully done. And yeah, like I said, all I have to do now is head bolts, this, those, that. Yeah, the next time you will see this, the head will be off. And this is how you remove a head. This thing's heavy. Well, like I said, now the head is off. Like you saw in the last clip of me taking it off. So, this is how it's just gonna sit until Bobby can get to it. It's just kind of dead. Well, he'll probably be helping me do this as well whenever he comes, but he wants to like file or deck the head, well, the block. I don't exactly know how he wants to clean it up. I don't know what he wants to do. I don't know anything else. All I know is it needed a head gasket. And I can do a head gasket. I've done them before. It's not too bad, as you can see. But the biggest thing is knowing what he wants to do next and how he wants to do it. So he'll probably file it down and everything. We'll send that out to a machine shop and get that decked and rebuilt and everything. And then hopefully throw it back on. So probably in the next clip, you'll see either us filing the head, well, the block, or us putting the head back on. Either or, I don't know just yet. All right, so it's been a few days since I did pull the head and everything. It's Sunday. I think the last day was Thursday or whenever. Probably Wednesday. And in that time, though, a few of the guys came over during the weekend. And Bobby was one of them. He cleaned up this surface. Yeah, there's that and that. But he cleaned this surface up using a file. He's done this before, so it worked. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that up for him. And I'll have to see if he has the head bolts with him or if they aren't in the car somewhere. We couldn't find them last time, so he might have them. And if he does, then I'll have to wait to fully install it. But at least I could throw the head back on, maybe like one or two of the old bolts just to keep it in the correct spot, and kind of throw everything else back on it and together. One other thing I'm going to do for him is the steering bushing I'm going to put in. Because this one is non-existent. It's really hard to see, but if you could see those two bolts, those 4 bolts, well, I guess you can only see 3 of them. So those 3 bolts, there should be a bushing in there, and there's nothing in there. So it's just, the only thing that steers it is those bolts hitting each other. And well, that's not good. So I'm gonna try to get that in there for him today. So if I can, I'll surface that for him. Get that in there, throw that back on, just enough. Clean up whatever else needs cleaned, fix one of the starter wires because it came off. But yeah, maybe today we'll actually have the cylinder head back on and most of this stuff together. So that way when it does come to being able to actually torque it down and do the angle specs on it, everything else is ready to go. Okay, so it has been a solid week since the last clip. And as you can see, a lot did get done, and I didn't film any of it because, well, I was just trying to honestly just get it done. But I did get the steering bushing in, like I said. We cleaned up the head. Bobby came over Thursday or Friday or Tuesday, I don't remember, and we got the head back on. We just torqued it down last night, and there's a whole sequence that you do with it. We got the Haynes manual for it, so we did, we went off of that. So far everything's going okay. I honestly, probably today, I might just call it for the day. Yeah, mainly because this is supposed to be in there like so. But when I took it apart, it wasn't in there like so. It was like sitting in here, and it confused me. So I'm going to actually look and see if it's different. But it's just weird to me that this wasn't in the correct spot when I took it out. Because according to the manual, it's supposed to be in there. And when I took it, it was in here. And I don't know. There's still work to be done to it. Like finishing up the vacuum hoses, tightening stuff down, clamps, throttle cable. Put the exhaust back on, and whatever else. It's not a lot that's left, but like at least a solid, night's work or whatever. I probably could finish this today, but I just kind of don't feel like it, so I'm not going to. So hopefully tomorrow, after I get off work, I'll come back down here, and I'll actually get it finished up. But yeah, so in the next clip, hopefully you see it fully finished, and about to start up. Here's test fire number 1. I think I got it all together. I hope I got it all together. Well, I know the exhaust is not on, so if it does fire up, it's going to be a little loud. If it doesn't fire up, then it's going to continue to be quiet. There's no coolant in it yet. Well, there's coolant in the radiator, but there's not, like, it's not topped off or anything. I have the cap off because I just need to see if it'll start, because if it doesn't start, then I have to figure out why it doesn't. So I'm gonna go and try it. I got a the jump box hooked up to it. I looked it over again. I didn't see anything unplugged, out of the ordinary, or anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that it is, that it's ready. So here goes nothing. Well, like I said, here goes nothing. Quite literally, nothing. I don't know why nothing's happening. The starter's hooked up, so it should have been cranking. I don't know if maybe it's something not in the ignition now. Yeah, because when I was putting in the steering bushing, I don't know if maybe when I was trying to turn the wheel, if I messed something up in there. I really hope not, because I kind of feel bad, because, it's not mine. Alright, so I hooked up my little buttony thing that I have over there, and the starter just spun. It didn't engage, so I don't know just yet if it's going to need a new starter, which is kind of a shame. I'm just going to have to look into it more, but I did do the task that I said I would do in the video, which was the head gasket. Now, do we know if it's going to work yet? No, because starter issues. Now, I'm pretty sure it's going to work. Honestly, this could give us some time to go back through the car and make sure the head bolts are torqued correct, which I know they are, but I don't know if you have to let it sit again and then just do it again. But either way, the head gasket was replaced. Now, this is, now it's just a problem that we didn't start with, because I'm good at my job. But in the next episode that you see with the E12, it will for sure be running, and maybe it'll have the hood back on. But I really can't continue on with this right now until I get what Robert wants to do with it. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. I hope you guys might have learned something on how to do a head gasket. I kind of should have gone in more depth on the head gasket part itself, about torque specs and everything, but I'm almost certain there will be another video one day, or even when I put the heads on the Malibu motor, I'll go into more depth. But either way, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, especially if you did. If not, well, then you didn't make this far, and that's just mean. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you want, go ahead, subscribe, like, comment, something. It can be hateful. I don't care. I don't have feelings. But yeah, I will see you next time.